In any progressive society, diversity is key, it's part of societal progression. And if we look at today's Scottish society, we have failed in that aspect.
People would question me and say, how did you get into politics, and how would somebody like you want to be involved politically? And I'm thinking, why not?
The moment you walk into Holyrood, it's quite obvious that you're sort of one of few people in Parliament from an ethnic minority background.
Since Holyrood was created in 1999, 4 people from Scotland's Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities have been elected. None are women.
If we look at our Black minority ethnic population, for instance, we've got 1% who are Black, and then if we include the Asian and minority ethnic, it's about 5%. It might seem small, but if we look at 5% of 5.5 million, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. So that's hundreds and thousands of people that you're ignoring. So I think we need to look at our Scottish history and our how our society is rooted in systemic racism and oppression and unconscious bias, to the point that we don't even realise that we're doing it. When we're talking about Holyrood, we really need to look at the political parties that claim that they're progressive, that they're inclusive, and yet I'm sure a lot of them do have a lot of interest from Black minority ethnic candidates, but you need the diverse experience, the lived experiences, if you want to make a society that you claim is representative and progressive. And when many people are held back, it's going to affect people who claim they're not.
I think to some extent, ethnic minorities are sort of burdened with having to find the solutions to problems that are very much out of their control. Yeah, I think all women shortlists have been incredibly effective in the Labour Party in particular. It's reshaped the composition of that party and helped put more women in politics and actually at the fore of politics. You can have ethnic minority shortlists as well. And there's nothing to say that you don't have shortlists which have Black women and Asian women in particular to actually help both with gender composition and ethnic minority representation.
When I stood in 2012 as a Muslim woman, women of colour, hijab women as well, some of the comments I heard were, oh, you know, she's unelectable, she needs to be more modernised, and I think that hurt. And somebody even said to me that I don't know if, you know, she doesn't come across as being Scottish enough because of the way I dress, the way I choose to dress. .99% of the meetings that I go to, you know, I'm the only woman of colour at that meeting. In policy decisioning and in terms of policy shaping, it's not acceptable. You know, and I know from my lived experience, there's no lack of talent, and no lack of aspiration, and no lack of ambition, and there's got to be recognition. Something's happening between people getting to that stage. Children from a BAME background don't see themselves in, for example, senior manager roles, senior teachers, whether it's head teachers, whether it's policymakers, and these things do have a negative impact without a doubt. I realise more and more that I have to deal with the sexism, I deal with racism, and I also deal with Islamophobia as well. But if I was to sit back and say, you know what, I'm not going to do this because it's really tough, then who's going to come forward? We need to show that it is possible and that we can do it, and we need to show more and more, and we want more and more people to come forward.